11:39. You're watching and listening to Breakfast with Steve Dinner, and as you can tell, it's time to go through the papers this morning. Joining us today, anthropologist Mariana Hotter and political editor at HuffPost UK, Kevin Schofield. Morning, you two.
Hello.
Kevin, let's talk about pension tax reliefs in the Telegraph, Sunday Telegraph.
Yeah, so as we know, November 17th is D-Day, really, as far as Rishi Sunak and Jeremy Hunt are concerned. We'll get the autumn statement, how they're going to fill this £50 billion black hole, and basically everything's up for grabs. So between now and then, every day, the papers are going to have some other money-making wheeze, really, for the government. And this is the one thing that is under consideration, is basically at the moment you get tax breaks to encourage you to put into your pension pot. What they're talking about doing is cutting that relief so that you won't basically get as much benefit, but it costs the government less money, and it raises £10 billion, which obviously, if you're looking
that's fairly handy,
that is a lot of money for them. So, but the interesting thing is that George Osborne tried something similar back when he was Chancellor and ended up ditching it because he was told Tory MPs just won't wear it. So again, I think
it's not a very Tory thing to do.
Well, it's not. I suppose you're supposed to encourage self-sufficiency and saving for your retirement, etc. And it would be targeting better off people who you think would be more likely to be Conservative voters. So anyway, it'll be interesting. I think what this indicates is that it's not going to be as simple as Jeremy Hunt standing up on the 17th of November and saying, right, this is what we're going to do, and then it gets done. There's going to be an awful lot of political trouble.
Well, I'm told that Labour are going to push for a debate on absolutely everything.
Yeah, exactly. Because what they want to do as well is they want to get votes, the Tory MPs' votes on the record, voting for tax rises, public spending cuts, so they can go into the next election and say, well, your local MP voted to put up your taxes and cut your NHS or whatever. And, so it's not going to be plain sailing by any manner of means. So at the moment, Rishi Sunak, he's the latest Prime Minister. There's a little bit of a honeymoon period. I think it's more or less over now.
I think it is.
But it's going to get really, really tough for him politically, I think, trying to get this stuff through because,
The only thing you would say is if Labour are going to push for a debate on absolutely everything that they put forward, Labour themselves have got to come up with strategies to sell. They can't just oppose in this situation. Surely they've got to sort of start their general election campaigning and say, you shouldn't be doing this, you should be doing that.
I would love to see, Anne, a version of our politics where, in good faith, if the opposition party go, actually, that's an all right plan, we should allow them. They should have the confidence to say, yeah, okay, I reckon maybe that would work and we would support that because we think it's probably in the best interests of the country or people in lower tax brackets or what have you, rather than it always being this adversarial thing where it's kind of point scoring against the other team rather than actually trying to work together towards something better. I know I sound like a naive
No, I think
idiot,
people are absolutely fed up with this point scoring.
Well, and it doesn't work. The people who lose out are us. The people who lose out are the people watching them all braying in the House of Commons, just going, that does not represent me, that isn't in my best interests. This is supposed to be a sort of democratic representation of what's good for us.
There are a lot of people watching right now who pay into a private pension scheme and therefore benefit from the tax relief you get for it, or who have been doing so in the past. What do you think? Do you think it's part-time? If you can afford a private pension, maybe you should be able to afford to pay a little tax on it.
Yeah, so if you earn more than £50,000 a year, you currently get 40p tax relief on contributions. That will be reduced to 20p, possibly, in this scheme. So it would just be a flat rate. No matter what you earn, you get 20p tax relief instead of getting more. And I sort of think, I've got to say, the money's got to come from somewhere. Is it a bad idea?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing about tax rises is that
it's not going to cost us. It's not going to cost us more. It's just going to mean there's going to be less going into the pension pot.
Exactly. Yes.
So we're not feeling it now.
Yeah, specifically for the people who probably have enough sort of financial flexibility that they are planning ahead, so that the argument is they can afford to have a little bit less in that big fat pension pot. The thing that's really important is that the people who are on lower incomes, who are kind of living to the end of the pay packet and kind of going, crikey, I've got through this month, I need to just get through next month or to the end of the week or whatever it is, those people are the ones who are going to be absolutely screwed in later life, because they don't have a pension and they're relying on whatever the state might be able to afford to give them.
Yeah,
and that is like a time bomb waiting to happen.
Not
That's
everybody
the thing that
who's
we
got a
actually
private pension has a big fat pension pot. Some people have chronically small amounts that will actually hardly pay anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if you're not careful, you pay tax on that too.
Yes. Well, I have to say, Luke Nash has been in touch and said, "Well said, Mary Ann."
Oh, thanks. That doesn't happen very often, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Thanks,
So there you go. Mary Ann, let's have a look at the front of the Sunday Telegraph, and looking at our NHS and ambulances in particular.
Yeah, speaking of where we might want to spend the money that we might be able to raise from clever tax. Clever, I don't mean sneaky clever, I mean, well-considered, smart tax decisions. Some patients have had to wait up to 2.5 days for an ambulance.
Well,
it is extraordinary. There's another...
How can that actually, but you can't, what's the point in sending one 2.5 days later?
Well, at that point, you think, it's ridiculous, isn't it? A Category 2 call, which is something as serious as a suspected heart attack or a stroke that has been assessed, triaged by the call handler, that's classed as a Category 2. That's not Category 1 anymore, that's Category 2, and you're supposed to have a response time of 18 minutes. Some people have had to wait 17 hours in the southwest and southeast coast waiting for an ambulance. And some people, you pick up the phone to dial 999 to even just get through to someone, to speak to them. The longest call was waiting 52 minutes to have the call answered. And the thing is...
That must be very rare, though, surely.
Yeah, but it should never happen.
No, it should never happen.
Because you don't know whether that's your child choking.
Yeah.
You don't know whether that's someone who's literally dropped down and is turning blue-coloured white.
So what's causing this problem?
More than 10 years of austerity, massive chronic underfunding. The fact that one of the other problems is a kind of blockage in the system. So paramedics can't offload their patients into A&E departments, because A&E departments can't get patients who need to be admitted into wards, because the wards are full of, that's the other thing that's in this article, only 2 in 5 patients who are ready to be discharged from hospital are able to go home at the point they are clinically able to, because there isn't the care in place for them to be looked after.
So it's what they call bed blocking.
Yeah, but bed blocking makes it sound like someone stands got their elbows out going, no, I'm not going home. Literally, you can't go home because you've just had a hip replacement and no one is there to look after you. Yeah. And so the knock-on impact is that people are dying. 50,000 people from heart attacks and strokes since the pandemic, because the ambulance doesn't come. And that is extraordinary. If we ever thought, we were moaning about GPs, if you ever thought, oh, actually, it's all right because I've got some money, I could pay to go private to have my earwax removed or to go and see someone about my fungal toenail or my asthma or whatever it is. Sorry, I know people having their breakfast, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. But, I mean, that isn't... Or even to go private to have you, like a knee surgery or something like that, there is no private equivalent of calling 999. And if you really need a wake-up call about how bad things are and how much we should probably be all on the streets going, this is not okay, this is it. A loved one next to you at the breakfast table chokes on their Weetabix, no one is coming.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality. Isn't that disgusting and grim and depressing?
It's certainly grim and depressing. We've got to leave it there, sadly.
Oh, sorry.
Kevin and Mary Ann, can we end on a happier note next week?
Sorry.
I'll try our best.
But we will catch up with you in the next hour.